Welcome to the Independent Artist Podcast, sponsored by the National Association of Independent Artists.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. I'm Will Armstrong, and I'm a mixed media artist.
I'm Douglas Sigworth, glassblower. Join our conversations with professional working artists.
Douglas, we've tried this once before, and we've tempted the listening public, and we've teased them and said, hey, we're coming back, and we're starting a new season, and then we're like, yeah.
6 months? Do you think six months was a long enough break for us? We said, we'll get back to it when we have time. 6 months later.
I feel like we were going to see each other in a couple of weeks. It's art show time, and our schedules synced up. I think I saw you pretty much at every weekend that I was on the road.
True, yeah.
In fact, I was going to say the last couple, and this will come out after River Arts there in Memphis, but I've actually had to cancel my last two shows, and you know I hate doing that.
Right. What's going on?
It's a leaner, meaner Will Armstrong. I'm actually in the middle of a pretty nasty case of week-long food poisoning. I've got the salmonella.
Jeez, I thought you gave up dumpster diving for your meals. What's up with you?
It's I have no idea. I don't think I ate anything in particular that was unusual that the rest of my family wasn't eating, other than like an arugula salad, and maybe tried some farmer's market tallow hand cream. Maybe that did it. I have no idea.
Okay,
but,
hand cream. Are you eating your hand cream now? Is that what you're saying? Or what?
No, I'm an orally fixated guy, I guess. I've got my fingers in my... I don't know.
Oh.
Shit happens. I put it on my face. I lick my lips. I don't know, man. Don't bother me.
As everyone who listens on the podcast knows, I've gone through some health stuff, and you do kind of get into that. How did this happen? Is it getting better? You get so into your head, you think about, how did I get this? Was it the hand cream? Was it the arugula salad? God damn it.
Well, honestly, it's really just the people that are asking me. I don't give a shit. Actually, unfortunately, I'm giving lots of shits. What happened, though, it was like the Tuesday before leaving for Bayou. I was working on the final piece like I do, and I'm finishing it up, and started getting really cold, and it wasn't cold, and started, your skin and your clothes start feeling kind of weird, and like it just kind of hurts where your clothes are touching you, and I'm like, that's weird. It almost feels like a fever,
right? Like a flu is coming on or something.
Yeah, so I ignored it, and then popped a couple Advil and kind of got through it, and was like, that's just kind of strange, and then woke up and the next morning and couldn't get out of bed. Had a high fever and took some more Advil, and then by noon, fever had broken. I'm like, I'm going to give this a go, and went down to the studio, threw all my stuff in.
So that was go day. That was the day you had to head out the door. Okay.
That was, setup is all day Thursday. It's a 12-hour drive. Figured if I could make it down to Amarillo, which is still about 8 hours from Houston, I could still drive down there and set up. So just spent the night, and as the night got on, I got sicker and sicker and sicker, and woke up with, Thursday morning and was like, there's no way in hell I'm driving 8 hours and setting up a show. Barely could make it back home. I almost just stayed in Amarillo, but Amarillo's maybe, have you ever been there?
No.
Oh, it's maybe the biggest shithole in the country. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I put it up there. Yeah, I'd say that. I'm sorry.
How appropriate.
In my opinion, right? Yeah, sure. But I'm sitting there and like, it's nothing but factory farms. They have maybe one of the bigger factory farms on the outskirts of the whole. It has a smell.
Oh, it sounds like not Fort Collins. What was the one that we were in leaving Denver area that one year? And you said, oh yeah, that's Cattle Town, whatever it was.
Yeah, for sure. Franklin.
I can't remember. It's one of those
like that.
East on our way out of an hour out of Denver. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, if we're lucky enough to do a Cherry Creek or something coming out of Minnesota when we're there for the summer, then we'll try to make it all the way there.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's like that's my carrot. Some dung smelling town with a couple of chain restaurants and a Fairfield Inn in a weird neighborhood, like a sketchy neighborhood. I don't know. Man, we're talking all about me, and it's me, folks. Douglas, what have you been up to?
You know what? I can feel your pain a little bit because yesterday I was gearing to have a pretty productive day. And after we got done in the studio for a few hours, my back went out. So I spent the entire day with like a back brace on. Every time I tried to walk around the house just to do the dumbest thing, I'd spasm up and end up on the ground. So I am actually lucky to be functional today, quite frankly. So between the two of us, we are not doing so great, are we?
No, walking wounded.
Yeah,
Lord.
right. But I think it's to be expected after a long art show summer season, you know.
Yeah,
unfortunately, you had to miss those
fumes.
too. That sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. I've got one last show coming up for the year. I'm going back to One of a Kind. I took a year off of that last year.
Okay.
So happy to be headed back there. We always do an extension on our taxes, so those are due right now as opposed to April.
Oh.
So today's our April 15th.
Okay. So is that like the kicking the can down the road? I've never done the extension deal.
Bless your heart.
Well, we just did our meeting with the accountant after doing the summer season or the show season, and before I got too comfortable with what was in the bank, we just sent a big payment off to the government. So April is covered. So 2025 is done for us. But it sucks when you have
Fuck
to.
you.
Jesus
Christ. Serious. From the bottom of my heart.
Rub that one right in.
Yeah, fuck you. Like I a lot of times we kid.
Yeah.
We joke back and forth, but I mean that one. That one's.
I can feel
that
it.
That one is. That's a real one. Yes.
Thank you for joining us for the last Independent Artist podcast.
Yeah, man. What we could make about 7.5 minutes. Jeez, I'm literally so irritated with you. I'm blacking out. Oh, man, we had all this list of things that we're sitting here wanting to talk about, and like, when was the last time we talked? I mean, I know it was 6 months, but where did that put us?
I remember there being conversations about Coconut Grove, if that helps.
Man, we could talk about that again. We just finished jurying.
But the last show we were just at together a few weeks ago was Plaza, and there were some changes there this year.
There was.
So I thought it was pretty interesting. I wanted to get your take on the reproduction enforcement rule this year. Did you hear anything about that?
I've got a take on that.
Okay.
Sure, because I sell reproductions, and then I that's a weird one for me because I do offer reproductions. I have not taken them to that show in the past because their rules have always said no.
Yeah. And
then I'll show up, and then everybody else in my neighborhood will have a flip bin, and then I figure I'm costing myself some money. So last year I did it. I actually brought my reproductions. Yeah, everybody was happy, and I had a good chunk of change from it. And so this time, they've got the rules set up. Okay, now we're actually going to enforce the rules. My customers were disappointed. They were disappointed that I didn't bring them. And then the reproductions, there still were plenty walking around the streets, but they were just digital folks because that's all they offer. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of like, and I've got good friends that are digital people, and had a great Saturday night. Super fun, actually, hanging out with a couple of them. Just having some conversations about it. They're like, gosh, they felt a little sheepish about it because they get to have the bins, the flip bins, and then nobody else does. Mm-hmm. So I feel pretty strange about it, and I'm feeling stranger about it as time goes past because the market is changing. Mm. I'm happy to go by the rules, and I think if a show like has always been very strict about things, wants to stick with a rule, then I agree with it, and I think it's great. And I think the folks in Denver and St. Louis and these shows that want to be super strict, and we can bring up Des Moines in a minute because I've got a different point on those guys. It's called foreshadowing, folks.
Right. If you have to tell them, it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Then it's a little heavy-handed, Will.
So no, I think when the groups get there and the clientele gets there, and then they have a certain kind of pride in it, then that's one thing. But if you cheapen it with a other things, and there's already these things walking around in bags that people want to get a hold of, and they want to get an image of mine for $75 as opposed to $7,500.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see the point.
Well, but don't you think it really comes down to like staffing? Like it's difficult to enforce, even though that's what they want. They want it to be a no reproduction show. Like, how can you stop somebody from breaking the rules and hiding a little flip bin behind their booth and handing them out? Not advocating it. I'm just saying, how are they going to police it?
I mean, at Plaza this year, they had a whole team. They had hired the folks from Cherry Creek or the ones that did it in Cherry Creek apparently came and did it in Plaza. There was a whole...
I thought those folks looked familiar. They're walking by. I'm like, I swear I've seen those people before.
You guys are so immune to it.
Right.
But the fact that I'm 2D, I did see them, but I didn't have any flip bins, and there's clearly nothing reproduced in my booth at that one, so I didn't really get to talk to them. But I did get to see that kind of standards committee that was walking around. So they were on it.
Well, one thing I'd say about Plaza, is it Plaza or Plaza? I hear people use both terms.
You're from the Midwest, baby.
So
I think I'm Plaza and you're Plaza.
Okay. Well, anyway, Plaza. I'll say Plaza so I don't sound like I'm from the Midwest
I think
anymore.
it's like aunt and aunt, you know?
Yeah. So checking in. I've talked a lot about how one of our struggles, Renee and I, is that we apply as two artists working on a single body of work. And some shows have a real hard time with the collaborator issue. And I think it is kind of a irritating topic, but I wish that there was a way that in our applications that the way that they divvy up the title is co-artist as opposed to collaborator just sounds like a diminutive role. So I go to check in and they can't find my packet. I'm the one who is the first name on our application. And they say, well, we have this packet, and they pull out a packet for Renee Sigworth. I'm like, whoa, that never happens. It's usually the flip. And they go, oh, wait, here we are. We have two packets. So they had one for me and one for her. So this year, this show treated us both as equals. We both got name tags. We both got booth signs. We got all this stuff. Wow. Instead of it looking like when you apply under a collaborative, that one of you is the artist and the other one holds your hand or something. You know, it's right. So I was pretty happy with that shift.
Did you both have to check in though?
Yeah, we both were there. We both had our licenses and stuff, and it was refreshing because a lot of times there's only one. It's usually my name on the booth sign with a lot of these shows, and I really wish that could start a new conversation out there with the shows, that they really do treat the collaborating artist as the artist also, because they are the artist. Otherwise, we couldn't apply as two people.
So what do you want?
I think I want to do away with that term collaborator. I think it's ridiculous. Okay. I think it should be co-artist. I think that when you apply, if you apply as a partnership, that the coding should change on the name. It shouldn't just say artist and collaborating artist. It should be co-artist, so that they both get equal billing.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. Okay, so I that makes one the dominant and then the other the whatever. So if you're applying to shows, yeah, I could see that totally being annoying, especially in a sexist world like we're in. Yeah,
and I mean, a lot of the shows say the collaborator has to be there, which is right. I mean, they should both be there. But then a lot of times, you know, when we were raising kids and we'd have health issues or school functions or whatever, and someone had to be with the kid, and we'd have to then figure out how are we going to do this show. And then we both show up and the collaborating artist is not written anywhere on any of the marketing, booth sign, website, name tags, nothing. And you're like, why'd you make such a big deal that we had to have both of us here and then not even give the other one credit? It felt kind of like a slap in the face.
Yeah, that is for sure. So I teased a little Des Moines, and we won't. I thought
that was foreshadowing, Will.
With that
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. teasing, whatever you want to say. So this year they had an emerging artist who was AI.
What?
Yep.
AI. I thought we were trying to keep AI out of art shows.
Well, this year, and maybe we should invite Stephen on to talk about this because I'm going to take a big dump.
Okay.
It's not very fair
For him not to be able to respond.
Just tie him in his chair and put a muzzle on him.
Okay.
You could hear him in the back, just screaming at his radio. But I think that's bullshit. But it's they've got an AI artist in emerging. What do you think about that?
Well, my knowledge of AI is pretty limited. But if it means you can open up ChatGPT and say, make me a picture of a spaceship in the essence of Salvador Dali, and then it spits it out and that's your body of work, I think it's bullshit. It's not the artist doing the work. It's not an artist.
I thought it was interesting, and I had heard secondhand from a good friend that went to speak to him that they were referring to their work as like the Vitruvian Man, the Leonardo da Vinci, the original drawing, like the beginning of art. And, I think that's a bunch of nonsense, and I don't think it has any place in shows, but, it would be an interesting topic to talk to him about.
So it's like this new era of art with the birth of AI is like a whole new, is that what the argument is, that it is this,
I suppose,
this new.
Yeah. You'll never convince me. I do everything by hand. Says the guy that was just talking about reproductions at Plaza. But I cut the goddamn prints and stuff them in the bag. Like it's the fact that if somebody's digital and you're drawing on a screen and I'm drawing with a pencil and a pen,
right?
Like, what's the difference? In like the difference is that shooting it is that, like, as opposed to just pressing print, that there's an extra step in between me creating it by hand, shooting it, and then pressing print. That's what they don't like. To me, all you're doing, and this is my number one argument, to me, all you're doing is convincing your audience not to come.
Right.
I've got a great story and a great example for this, like just real cut and dry.
Sure.
I sold a nice piece in St. Louis to this customer. I'd had it for a little while. They were back and forth with me. They were getting ready to get married. It was the second marriage. It's a blended family. Mm-hmm. Everybody bonded over this one piece.
Wow.
Yeah, we're sending photos back and forth, and I was touched by it. And I'm like, man,
it's so great to be a part of that, to be part of that.
Yeah, it felt great. Yeah. And it was a little out of their price range, and I worked with them a little bit. I know that's verboten, but whatever. It's my business. Mm-hmm. And we're back and forth on it. And I delivered it to their house, and it looked awesome where it was going to go. And I just love these guys. So one of the kids that couldn't be there was away at college, and she reached out to me through Instagram. And it's like, hey, my dad and his new wife just selected this piece and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm an art student, and I just am really curious. We're learning a lot about AI and how many different artists use AI in their work. And I'm just curious. I'm collecting information, and I just wanted to know how you utilize the new tools when you create your work. And I was like, hey,
you're like,
awesome.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I was like, sounds like you might even be writing a paper. I'd love to show you, because she also asked how I do my sketch work and then get rid of it when I'm working on different layers. And I'm like, hey, that second question you asked me about the sketch work, we can talk all day about that. But unfortunately, I'm pretty boring and old school. I don't use any AI whatsoever. I use photo references. The hands that I used on this piano are my daughter's piano teacher, and this is that, and this is this, the ring on his pinky finger is one I made up that I incorporated. It's kind of based off of this. And so anyway, I go through all this whole thing on how I get my references and how I create them. And she was like, she was tricking me.
Oh, was she?
She was totally baiting me. She's like, I have to come clean. the last piece of artwork that my dad bought at an art show was AI, and he didn't know about it until he got home.
Oh.
And we were all really disappointed and felt like we'd been tricked.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know if this was a similar thing, and I wanted to make sure that it was real.
Wow.
And this is a kid in college.
You stood the test. I mean, that was
I did.
pretty ballsy to like kind of set you up like that. I mean, think of how crushed, I mean, not that you did this, but think of how crushed you would have been, or they would have been, if it would have been AI, and they're like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, they got me again. And she was like, I kind of was trying to convince them not to go to another arts festival to buy their artwork. I wanted to make sure that it was more reputable. And
yeah.
So I think that's the danger that we're running into. These people come out to these art shows. They want to know that the stuff is done by the people in the booth, made it by hand, and that we are following the rules that have been set into place. So,
but don't you think that'll make one-of-a-kind original work even more sought after once this plays out a little bit further? You know, when automation happens and all that.
I do. I just think that introducing it into our world is a big, huge mistake.
Especially
because of that.
Into the art show market, the art fairs, definitely. Because it was built on the back of made by hand by the artist, the individual artist, independent artist, that kind of thing.
Right.
So,
and there are certain people out in our business that they've outgrown art shows,
That's okay. There's other markets?
It absolutely is. There's so many other markets, but when they're pretending to be this and they're pretending to still be us, and they've got 16 people working for them, and they know they're cheating and they know they're lying on the application. And when they show up and they make their videos and they pretend that it's just them, it's they're no longer welcome.
Yeah.
And I feel like these corner cutters and the AI and the production things, and it's got to be you have to just kind of know. I mean, the price of that and rule breaking is that you don't get to have any friends because we all know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time and space for running around and policing it. I'm not goddamn art cop.
Right. I mean, we don't want to be that.
No.
This episode of the Independent Artist Podcast is brought to you by Zap, the digital application service where artists and art festivals connect.
Douglas, I'm thrilled this week that we are being sponsored and supported by Zapplication.org.
It's really great that they appreciate what we're doing here on the podcast.
And I appreciate what they are doing, basically because I feel like I am an intensely lazy man. And they make the entire art show process, signing up for shows, a lot easier.
And they have that tagging feature for us. That way we can put little notes about a show to help us maybe with building that perfect tour.
Or you can write whatever you want on it. You can write, hey, this show sucked last year, but it had promise.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be exactly what you need it to be, and I appreciate that extra bonus feature.
I've got another one for you from St. Louis.
Sure.
I have a client who comes to see me in Missouri.
Okay.
Lives in Kansas City. Typically, he'll come out and see me in St. Louis to see what I've got before it sells and I go to Plaza.
Okay.
Amazing client. Always love seeing her and her husband, and good friend of Janine DiCrescenzo. So shout out to her for introducing me. But
nice.
So this woman comes in my booth typically in St. Louis, and I'm always looking for her, and I give her a big hug, and we catch up. And sometimes she buys something for me or one of our friends. So it's awesome.
Cool.
And just exactly who you want to come. So I'm kind of looking for her in St. Louis, and hey, there she comes into my booth, and she was like, oh my God, you sold the piece. And I give her a big hug, and I'm like, man, yeah, I just sold this one, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking. She takes her sunglasses off, and it's not her.
Oh.
Just randomly hugged a lady.
Okay.
Just
man, he's friendly.
I was like, yeah, that's how. And she had come in and she was upset that the piece that she wanted sold, and I'm like, yeah, blah blah blah, hug her. I kind of have my arm around her, and I'm like, just jump back and like
total reality shift, and you're like, what?
I hugged the lady. That felt really weird, and I just kind of, now we're gonna roll with it. But I ended up, I'm actually still working with this client, and we're Hopefully I'm doing her basement. I've got to reach out to her when we get done here, but supposedly I'm doing her basement.
I have had 2 customers that I flip-flop memories, like they get fuzzy, these 2 couples that will regularly come by yearly. They don't both come by yearly, but they flip-flop enough that I've blended their memories, and I get them mixed up all the time. So at first I was kind of cocky and I'd say their name, which you should never say the name if you get it wrong.
Right.
But when you get it right, oh, does it go really well? Like, oh, you remember us. Oh, that's so sweet. So one time I'm clearly recounting a memory that was with this one couple that was from the other couple. And all the years of them feeling like I knew exactly who they were was just thrown out the window. They felt so bad because I remembered them wrong.
God, you ruined it.
I ruined it.
It's funny, like, I think I've said this before. I know I have, but like, I tend to remember just about every single person that bought from me the first year with this body of work.
Okay.
I mean, it's been like, and this is hilarious, it's been like 20 years. I realized when people ask me how long I've been doing this, and I'm like, I've been doing this body of work for about 10 years, that I realized this year is the 10th anniversary of me saying this is my 10th.
Yes.
I'm like, well, this is the 10th anniversary of me saying about 10 years. So about 20 years. But God, that makes you feel old.
Definitely.
And it makes you look old. I don't know.
Something we have been working on this week, because we were getting ready for the big Fort Worth application came due last week. And it has been a goal of ours to get a new booth shot. So that involved setting up our booth in the front yard. And I thought it was going to be a one-day thing. It turned out to be like this 2-day project to set it up, get everything perfect, swap things out, rearrange, have the sun be in the right direction, and then the wind picks up. And all I can think about is how many artists who've told me stories about them setting up their booth in their yard and their tent blows over because they just, you think it's just going to be a quick setup and tear down kind of thing. We got the shots. Blah, blah, blah. But that was a little bit of an interesting couple of days trying to get that all worked up.
Dude, that's brutal. When you think about how much work you can make in 2 days, like studio days, and especially like if you guys are in high production mode and you're like doing certain things, it's like, well, that's a $40,000 booth shot.
Exactly. So
like, how much did that cost me? But I mean, but then again, if it is the booth shot that gets you into everything, then it's a $100,000 booth shot, right?
Yeah, and if it can last you a couple of years, then for sure. But we haven't been super busy since we wrapped up our last show. So these kinds of projects have been taking precedence, like the booth shop. But then also we've been working on some commissions that we've punted to the end of the year that are a little bigger, a little more special, a little different than what we had in our booth. Those can really be stressful. You always think they're going to be so easy. You think, oh man, I could make that 100 times and it's no sweat. But it could be the easiest. It could be a Christmas ornament for all I care. But when you go to make it for somebody who's already committed to having it, it can really stress you out every single piece we've been making.
It stresses me out, and then I've got no joy in it either. It just feels like a slog, especially if they want something exactly like the one that sold, right. And it's going to be next to impossible for me to do that. But they like to get all of the different, I'm working in more color right now and trying to make sure that I get the right angle here and make sure that the collage match. It's just, it's just, it sucks the joy out of it. But boy, does it feel good when you sell it, and boy, does it feel bad when you make it. God, I had a couple of interesting, you're talking about commissions or deliveries or what have you, but I had a couple of interesting installs after St. Louis, just to bring that one up again. But can you tell I had a good show?
I'm guessing it was a banger of a show.
that was a pretty good one. Good God. But I had done the emerging artist panel. And it was really cool because I love Chris Vance, and I got to share the stage with him. And always have a good time talking to that dude. And we were talking about, one of the topics came up of like, I was trying to emphasize that we are not each other's enemies, that we are all in this together, that even if somebody's making something similar or they're a painter that's similar themes or whatnot, that more often than not, you're gonna go and you're gonna see these people in each other's houses. And I'd just been talking about that. And so I'd use Chris Vance as an example. And I was doing a delivery Sunday morning. Show didn't start till 11, so it was awesome. I could just zip over super close and hang a piece. I pull into the driveway of this big house as Chris is pulling out.
That's great.
I just wanted to like roll the window down and kind of high five him on the way in.
Like next.
And, exactly. Pull in and I'm unloading the van. It's so nice to carry it in. It's just absolutely lovely family.
Wow.
And walk into their kitchen. I'm like, there's another artist. There's Jonah Green, hanging up over the doorway. I'm like, there's another guy had a good show. Like, hey, it was just kind of funny. It actually started feeling very incestuous. They're like talking to the clients. I'm like, yep, know that guy and know that guy and know that. I'm like, they're like, oh wow, how do you know him? And I'm like, well, shit, do I tell him? That's
So you know how we've often said, get us in the door and we're golden. You know what I mean? We're going to sell some work if they invite you in to try something out or whatever. And there was one installation that we were working on this summer, and there was an artist who was invited to come try out their work at this collector's home also. Felt so bad for them. These people were unpacking their van and bringing in all sorts of different options, and it didn't happen. And I'm like, oh, so much for that theory that if you get me in the door, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want to make sure they're really happy with what we're working on here, because they will have no problem saying no if they don't.
Right. I had a different kind of one happen. At Cherry Creek Saturday morning, somebody bought my biggest piece. It was the biggest piece I ever made, biggest price tag I'd ever had on anything. Super psyched. Show opens at 10. I'm there early because my wife is a jeweler. She needs to get like an hour and a half early to set up. So I'm just kind of open.
Yeah.
And so this happens. I'm like, I show her the picture. We take pictures of me and the client together. I'm just on cloud nine. And then by 10:30, he called and returned it.
Jeez.
And he was like, man, I showed my wife pictures. She's furious that I did this without her. She hates it. And I'm like,
she hates
that.
That cuts even deeper.
So yeah, and it's not a piece for everybody. It is a sports themed piece, and it's got an interactive element to it. It's got all of this, all of these different screens, and this is happening. And he was so happy. But dude, your spouse, right? And your bank account.
Yeah.
And your design sense in your own home.
Right.
Like, who spends that amount of money without checking? And hey, do you like this? Or
not everybody operates with their spouse in a similar manner to you and me, Will. So
he came home and he was apparently so excited, and he had sent me, and he wouldn't even call. He would only text. I tried to call him back, and I was like, hey, tell you what, I tried all the things.
His wife stole his phone and was texting
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I tried to tell him, though. I was like, look, totally get it. Everything's on the table at this point.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, you can have a return.
Yeah.
It's a delivery anyway.
It was still in your booth.
Still, yeah. He'd waited long enough for me to have packed it and taken it down. So it wasn't not a pain in the ass, but still, I was like, okay. So I went through and I was like, look, if there's a chance to bring your wife down and get me to meet her, if there's a chance that I can maybe give or make something smaller for her that gets her on board, where she's feels special,
right?
We can talk about, if it's too much at this time and we want to break it up. And he was just like, trying to talk. He was like, yeah, this is just a no. This is I keep it and we're divorced.
God.
And I'm like, oh yeah, got it. There's your refund.
That's the
I don't know if
definitive.
you've ever,
That's the end right there.
Same thing happened to another artist, almost an identical story, except he unfortunately got it all the way there.
Okay.
And so they hated it in front of his face. No, I hate this, and I hate you. Get out.
So how did you get over that the whole rest of the weekend? I mean, was it hard to get your head right after that? It's pretty hard. No.
Yeah, I didn't. It ruined my show.
Damn.
I was in such a bad mood, and I'm trying to get the stink off of me, but I could feel it like a spell that had been cast. It was a spell. It was like but it felt like visceral, like there was a grease on me, like it was just a mud on me. I just felt like I had a chicken grease on my white shirt.
Yeah,
it was so bad. I could not shake it, and I had a bad show because of it. So it's
hard to feel optimistic and engaging with new people coming in when all you're thinking about, what's rattling back there is, well, what if they don't want it after they say they want it? I mean, you're replaying it, you know?
I did, and I had a weird booth at that show too. I had 2 huge interactive pieces.
Okay.
And so it just was too much. I always try to do something kind of experimental and new to bring to Denver. It's such an honor to get into it, but then like I feel like I've choked it a couple of times where I've tried to bring such different new things to kind of unveil them, and then if they don't go well, you're like, well, that took up my whole area. So anyway,
the showing real
felt kind of weird.
You mean like
I took up like 50% of my real estate with brand new, uber expensive work.
Man, we had kind of a commission. It was one of these where they bought what we had in the booth, but they wanted the scale larger. So we were going to make more pieces to add to it, but it would be already mounted what holds the glass on the wall. So all they'd have to do is just put it into place once we sent it to them. So we go to their house, and one of the ways we lay things out for them is with these templates.
I've seen you do it. It's cool.
Yeah. And so it helps us. It helps the customer visualize how the layout's going to go, and it makes it super custom for their space, depending on what's going on in the environment. But one thing we had a little bit of a struggle with was the couple couldn't they couldn't get to the same page on how they like the layout. And, you know, the husband had one idea, the wife had another idea, and we kept trying to ride the line between making them both happy. And I feel like we ultimately got there, but there were a few points where it got a little testy, and we were wondering, is this just going to kind of fall apart before our eyes? Because there were no holes drilled in any walls yet or anything, but they just couldn't get on the same page. So thankfully, we were able to get it where they wanted it, and they're happy with it, but it was a bit of a touch and go moment there.
I hate those, man. That's crazy. I had one, they gave me a picture. Do you think you could hang it on this wall? And I glanced at it, and I'm like, yeah, it's the passing space at a landing going downstairs. I'm like, yeah, it's no brainer. So you walk into the front door of this place, and it's got a railing that looks down over the stairwell as it goes down. And then that's where I'm going to be hanging it. But they didn't want the piece at the bottom of the landing. They wanted it so that it was eye level when you walk in the front door.
Okay.
So there is a ledge, like a 6-inch ledge that continues all the way around.
Yeah.
You know, that splits.
I totally can visualize what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that splits the top level and the bottom level. So they want it centered in eye space, like right there. And it's got a chandelier in the way. So that's going to hang in the center of the piece.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, well, that doesn't look good, because you're neither going to be able to see it from the landing or the upstairs. You're not going to really be able to, and there's so much detail to this particular piece. It's one of those ones that I didn't really leave alone. You know, it's like, it's got tons of shit.
You kept going with it.
I just kept on adding stuff. And so like, I get there and I'm like, well, this is above my pay grade here. I've got a 6-foot ladder. The 6 feet don't even get me to the ledge. And they're like, we want you to do it. And I'm like, well, I can't really, it's just me. And the couple is probably in their 70s. they're not gonna help me. But he just kept on at me, and the wall is a sheetrock. It's not chalkboard, but it's painted that color. And so I'm like, it's that kind of color, as I know ahead of time. It's super easy to scratch. You've done it.
Yeah.
You've hung on those walls before.
I've been on plenty of those weird wall surfaces.
You scratch it and it's shiny or it's white.
Or people will give me their painting ladders from the garage, and every time I lightly even put a handprint on the wall, they've got my hands all over their painted walls. It's a nightmare.
Right.
Anyway,
so I'm like, look, the best I can do, and I hate to say this to you, and they're like, well, our son is a contractor. I was like, hey, get him over here. He's got the ladders and do the thing. I was like, tell you what, I'll put the hooks in. I can get up there. It's not going to be super safe. If you hold the ladder, I'll get the hooks in and I'll get it all installed. All you got to do is get somebody up and they can put it on the thing. So I get there, put the hooks up, and they're like, we want it on the wall. We want it on the wall. I don't know why you can't just put it. You got the hooks in. Why can't you do it? So I give it a try and I reach up behind the piece and it's just out of my orangutan arm length wingspan. And I'm holding the wire and I'm getting ready to put it on. And as I do that, I rake the front of my wrist across the top of the painting, just trying to hang on to it. And then I set it back down and I gouged the wall because I injured myself. And I look at my wrist and I start and I just have to hold my left hand behind my back at the point because I'm getting a hematoma. And I'm like, I don't know how big this fucking thing is going to get on my wrist, but I've damaged something. I've got interior bleeding.
Right.
And it's swelling up to the size of it's not a plum and it's not a grape. It's somewhere in between. And
how good is your homeowner's insurance?
It's just a golf ball size thing, getting black on my wrist. And I'm like, so I just kind of hold it. I'm like, I'll do so-and-so. And then he goes, and this is why I love our freaking tribe. Okay. This is in St. Louis, and who lived there and raised her kids and was part of the artist community and the poster artist that show this year.
Let me guess.
Sharon Spiller, baby.
All right.
And I walked out. I was like, hey, do you guys have just a second here? I was like, I'm going to get this taken care of. I went out on the front steps. I called Sharon. She answered immediately. I was like, who's your art installer in St. Louis? She was like, I'm sending you his name right now. Everything okay? I was like, I'll call you later. She texted it that immediately.
Would mean no. Is everything okay?
Yeah. I called the guy and I was like, immediately, I was like, hey, got your name and number from Sharon Spiller. Any chance you could come by this home today at some point and finish this install? You'll be billing me and not the client. You'll be billing me directly and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I got you. Sure. I mean, I swear to God, Douglas, I was on this client's front steps for under 2 minutes. Just walked back inside. I was like, hey, I've got a guy. He can come by this afternoon, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, this is great, blah, blah, blah. And they were super happy. Kind of leaned it on that 6-inch, little railing thing or just ledge and let them live with it there. But
did they know you hurt yourself or did you downplay it?
I hit it. And then they wanted not only that, but I went downstairs and sold them another one. So
that's great. I do feel cool. Like these installs, our installs will take up to 3 hours sometimes because that's a lot of pieces and whatever. It can really turn into a nice opportunity to bond with the collectors and to form connections for even future stuff. I mean, and just also to, like the story in your booth with the couple getting married. I mean, it makes your piece feel so good that where it's going, we feel good about who's living with it and getting to know them and them knowing us more. And so I think it's something I'm really enjoying in the past number of years with doing more installs like that for us. I'm really liking that.
But the longer that you're there in their home, the more of an opportunity they have to figure out that you're a fucking weirdo.
Well, I was wondering, do our collectors expect artists to be a certain personality? Do they expect us to be like these weird hippie types, or do they expect us to be like these buttoned up kind of shirt and tie kind of guys? I mean, what are they expecting?
I think yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's all different kinds. I mean, you think about that one house that I mentioned. Could you think of three people or three people
Who are more different, right?
who are more different than me, Chris Vance, and Jonah Green?
Right.
And they all invited us. So we're all just, I mean, we all just are ourselves. And I think they got a little piece of everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's who you are. I think we talked about dressing the part and being, I think all that means is being
Authenticity.
Authenticity, yeah. You know, you guys are, I don't know. It's like I walk into the Sigworth booth and you guys it's like professional athleisure.
Athleisure is for sure.
You know, I mean, it's like, but you have like, well, yeah, like if I said that, went into Douglas's booth and he's wearing sweatpants, I'm like, well, no, they're wearing like, you guys are comfortable, but you're like, you know, you're just kind of cool. And
the listeners can't see you do the cool head side to side thing.
You catching me on video. You can put that in the loop. So I don't know. You've got your own thing. You and I, if I dressed like you in my booth, everybody that I know would walk by and laugh.
Yeah, right.
But, I would look completely wrong. But
Yeah. Or I'll sometimes, if we do the day of setups and I'm still wearing what I wore for like setup, you know, like sweaty, messy, dirty clothes. And I just didn't have time to change. And I'm like, fuck it. It's a couple hour preview. I'm just leaving it on. People don't even recognize me. They'll walk in like, this is like my studio clothes or something.
I feel like, I don't know. We just are who we are. And sometimes it becomes a little bit of a costume. I think we could dress as each other for Halloween.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be a great Halloween party.
I'd like to see you shave your head there, sir.
Getting close, buddy. I've got a mullet. Have you seen that? My mullet's coming in. Look at all
your
that.
Your ponytail's coming in over there.
Hell yeah. It'll be cut before my next show. Don't worry. But you know, it's if you dressed like Kenny Cadulas, I think it would look like Halloween. But
sure.
You look like you guys and you're comfortable and it's your own thing. So yeah.
Just another thing I wanted to bring up on this episode is a lot of artists. This is kind of the time of the year where they're wrapping up their seasons and they might have like a break before they start back up again. That's the same for us right now. We're planning some trips and we're going to go to Vegas next week. We're going to take a couple days. We're going to go to the Sphere and we're going to watch the Wizard of Oz. We're going to see Alanis Morissette's residency. She's doing is it the Coliseum? And then the last big thing is a Cirque du Soleil. So we've got, we're going for like 3 days. We've got 3 big events we're going to do. We're freaking excited.
That is amazing. Good for you guys. That's huge. I don't want to jinx anything. We're hoping to have a trip or two this year too, but we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
Last year was kind of my year of doing some experimental things, and I'm not doing that, which I'm super excited to just do the regular thing and kind of get back into where I'm comfortable. And so, yeah, I'm hoping, what do we got? Coconut Grove announces first, I think, is my first show that I've applied to.
I think it's coming up this week. By the time this airs, it will have announced. So I'm waiting for that one too.
Yeah, that one has blossomed into a get nervous about it kind of show.
Stop talking about it on the air.
Yeah, seriously, we've already ruined corners, the goddamn corner market. And hey, big shout out to our sponsors application for re-upping with us for the upcoming season. You can expect more regular content from us coming up through the coming year. And I know we've had a lot of folks ask us about it and people that I didn't know were listening. So I really appreciate the listenership as well as the sponsorship. So thank you so much to Zapplication as well as you folks for continuing to kick us in the ass and get us to re-up.
We did try the we'll record when we have time and when we feel like it, and that went 6 months. So we are actually putting it down in ink, and we are going to do monthly podcasts for the next year. So we will do one a month. Our goal is to do it the same week out of the month, but if we got shows going on, we've got the whole month to get it in. So
our goal was to create such a hiatus that when we did cut back to once a month, that Oscar would just shut up and leave us alone and not complain about where's the new show? Where's the new show? So we're going to do a once a month and hopefully you'll enjoy that. We've got some interviews and some topics and panels and all sorts of things kind of planned out for the coming year. And starting it in October seems kind of cool.
Yeah. And I also am thinking we're going to do our best here to utilize this downtime to get some guests in, because it is really hard when we are doing the art fair season to schedule a guest, record with a guest, edit it with a guest. It kind of fell into just a you and me weekly thing when we were doing it. And
I'm so tired of you.
I'm kidding. The feeling is mutual. And so we're gonna work on this during the winter time, just banking some conversations, and then we can have them all year round to enjoy and share. So that's our goal, and that's how we're moving forward, everyone. So
yeah. Seems good.
Final point here before we go, Will. I was a little nervous about recording today because you had to cancel Bayou City. I mean, on the one hand, I felt pretty bad that you went through this whole, food poisoning thing. But some of our best episodes are following a Bayou City breakdown.
Have to get somebody else on here for that. Yeah, I was super bummed to miss that one. I've got a great market there, and I was ready for the show. So
yeah,
now I'm ready for the next show. Yeah. I guess whenever that one happens, if it's December, that's when it is.
Hey, have you seen the Devo documentary? I think it was on Netflix.
No, not yet. I do want to see it.
Are you a fan of Devo or no?
Peripherally. I never really listened to them, but I respect and like what they do and did. But
yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are super into him. A lot of the hipster kind of music scene friends from Richmond and the radio station back in the day. Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. And I mean, I knew of their popular music, the stuff that hit big. And then when they would talk about their other music, I'd be like, oh, I know that song. I know that song too. So, I mean, yeah, I pretty much knew all of their music that they talked about. But the thing I found really interesting about these folks was that they were really into the art component of it, that they weren't into the commercialism of music and the money making. And their producers and their managers were all like, can't you just give us another Whip It? I mean, come on, that's what we all want. We want to Whip It. And they wouldn't do it. And they wanted to stick true to their music and their style. And I thought that really, kind of resonated with what we do as art fair artists too. We fight the commercialism, and I'm thinking about the Venn diagram that we talk about, making what you like within that other circle that sells. And I highly recommend it. I found it really, really fascinating and interesting just to hear the pressure that they were put under.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I do love those parallels with music and visual arts. I just finished Mike Campbell's autobiography. He was the guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Oh, cool.
And really Petty's writing partner for his entire career. He wrote like half of the different things. And so, yeah, I was that, and the fact that there's a bio and that these documentaries are happening right now that, we're both 55. Happy birthday, belated.
Yeah, same to you.
But the fact that this, these history books are now being written, these autobiographies and documentaries, that we were alive during all of that.
We're the new market. We're the market that these companies want to sell to watch their stories about their singers that were big when we were younger. You know what I mean? It's like we're the people that are buying.
Yeah. And I remember picking up the Rolling Stone magazine and wondering, how did the Traveling Wilburys get together, and all this. So there's your Oprah pick from me, but I freaking loved that book. That was you're a little Devo and I'm a little Heartbreakers, and in between we've got a little independent artist podcast. I think we got a show. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, to sign off here, I will say when I watched the documentary, I did think of you and me and our differences. And when Devo was playing their song, Can't Get No Satisfaction, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little can't get no satisfaction, and you are more.
I'm a little more.
I can't
get no.
You're the Stones and I'm Devo, so that's what makes this podcast roll.
Going into, what are we, season 5, season 6?
Something like that. Sounds like it. That sounds about right.
So yeah, we've always said you're a little Ernie, I'm a little Bert. Let's go a little Devo, a little Stones. Until next time, folks, thanks again for being patient with us through the hiatus, and we're excited to bring you the next season.
That's right.
Let's go.
All right. Take care, everyone.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Association of Independent Artists. The website is naiaartists.org.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. That's zapplication.org. And while you're at it, find us on social media and engage in these conversations.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when we release new episodes.
Oh, and if you like the show, we'd love it if you would give us your 5-star rating and offer up your most creative review on your podcast streaming service. See you next time.